Hey guys, Justin again with another work in progress for the Ez8. As you can see, all of my armor pieces, not all of them, but most of them have been primed up. You can see all the texture that I added, all the additional details, stuff like that. Very pleased with all that. But we are going to finish up the frame. The legs had, or the feet I should say, had some seam lines in them, and I went ahead and removed those and repainted them. So this is what we're looking at. So mostly seam free, kind of rough, not really too what I'd normally do. It's a little rougher than what I'd normally do. Since I was going for the weathered look, that's the reason I didn't, worry too much about it. So this one hasn't been touched yet, so I figured I'd go ahead and show you what I'm doing on my armor, or my frame pieces, using this piece. I'm using Vallejo liquid silver. I'm shaking it up real good, and I'm just kind of dry brushing it on the edges. So for those of you familiar with the dry brushing technique, it's pretty much just put paint on the brush, wipe most of it away, and then just kind of hit your edges. And I try to go vertically first, and then get most of what I'm doing here. And I'm doing this kind of heavy intentionally. So I recommend using gloves if you're going to be using the Vallejo liquid silver. I think it's actually got like metal flakes in it, not like normal. Well, I think there's always metal flakes in your paint, but these even have like a warning on them that if you get them wet they will rust. So probably not too good for your skin. But like I said, just trying to go up and down first, and then I'll come back through and do some side to side stuff just to get some of the edge highlighting around the details and stuff like that, so that that's all like evident, I guess. I don't know. Now this is just the way that I'm doing the frame. I wanted the frame to also have where a lot of people seem to like skip out on certain details. They'll leave like the hands or whatever unweathered and untouched, and it doesn't really help the look of the weathering, because you see this trashed mobile suit and you see like little details like the frame or like the joints and stuff like that are left unweathered, and it doesn't really do anything for the appearance, because you're like, well, this whole mobile suit is rusted and weathered and ruined basically, but some smaller details are fine, and that isn't the way that weather works. Weather affects everything. So I'm trying to touch on everything. Now, my assumption here is that the frame would be made of a different type of material, since it has to support the weight and move around and stuff of the entire mobile suit. It's made of a different material than the frame, the armor panels, because this doesn't receive direct contact with enemy fire and stuff like that. It's protected. So it's made of a different material, it weathers differently, plus it's covered from the elements furthermore. So that's why I'm doing this differently than the outer armor. So anyway, once you have done your wash, I'm going to clean my brush. Just use a little bit of thinner. Get this off of here. And the next thing I'm going to do is just hit it with a black wash. And for that, I'm going to shake my wash up a little bit. I'm using black because this is a dark metallic. If I apply it real thin, or if I basically wash it over the entire piece rather than a panel wash, it kind of thins it out across the whole piece, and that is just going to tone down everything that I've done already, so there's not as much contrast. So I just lay it on, and it's, like I said, it's a little bit translucent, so it's not as thick as the actual paint. And again, that's just to kind of bring the color down. It's kind of like a filter, I guess you could say. Just something to alter the color just a little bit. And once this dries, we'll be good to go. But that's basically the process I've been following for the frame bits. So get this other one done real quick, and then I guess we'll go and do something else. And you don't have to worry about like bubbles and stuff. Most of the time that kind of levels itself out and they go away. So shouldn't have too much of an issue with that. I love these Vallejo washes. They're really nice for this kind of thing. Panel lining, not as much. You can use them for that. It just takes a little bit more work and a little bit more cleanup, in my opinion. So there we go. Those are all set. That means the frame is pretty much done. I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to do, just kind of light on this, just to kind of tone this down a little bit too. Just kind of get it in the crevices and stuff like that, and tone down them. Oh god, the silver and the red a little bit, and just dirty it up. So. And I'm going to do something similar with the actual pistons. A little thicker than I wanted it to be. I think I can just move it around. For the actual pistons, like I said, I want to do something similar, but because I want them to look like they've been used. I don't want them to look brand spanking new and shiny like they are right now. They're aluminum, and even though you know, pieces like this will be on the kit, like deep inside, this is a part that is exposed to the elements as well. So just hit it with a black wash, and then I might come back and throw like a rust wash over it just to kind of shift it a little bit in that direction, so it looks more, you know, weathered, basically. Oops, I don't remember which one that was. Alright, so that's that. As you can see, it's quite different now. It's more... Come on. Oh, this is killing me. There we go. It doesn't look as clean now, so very pleased with that. Now, I suppose next up I'm gonna start spraying my actual rust color, so I can go ahead and get that done and out of the way, and then I can start salt weathering the armor. So I think I'm gonna come back when all that's done. I've shown off all of that off in a tutorial, so I don't think that I need to go over it again. If you want to see the tutorial, just check the tutorial section on my channel. It should be one of the, there's only like 4 or 5 tutorials up right at the time of this recording, so it shouldn't be hard to find. So I will be back and we will talk about what I'm going to do next. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I don't remember where I left off. I think I just talked about how to do the frame and how I did the frame, but here's where I'm at with that. It's all dry brushed, it's all you know, black washed, I think I might actually hit it with a whitewash next, possibly. I haven't decided on that yet. But I've washed the pistons as well as the piston housings. Those have been dry brushed and washed. I'm really happy with the effect. The red stands out just enough, and I've worn it and dry brushed that as well, so they look used. And I washed these as well, so they're not so bright. So that's done. Next, we have the armor bits. I painted most of it. I have these still to mess with, and then these need paint, and there's a few that I still have to clip off the runners and clean up, and I don't think I'm modding anything else that's on the runners or anything like that. I think that's all ready to go. It's just a matter of, you know, cleaning it up and getting it ready. But here's my I'll take the other one. I like the other one a little bit better. My armor pieces. It's a custom color mix. I used, it was about, I'd say 90%. I can't find it now. It's a light gray. I think it's 322, 323, something like that. Mr. Color, light gray, and about 10% radome, which is it's like a yellowy color. 318. It's like a yellow. And then I put a couple drops of white in it. And that's how I ended up with this. I'm very pleased with it. You know, the chest, the decal's a little crooked, but that's okay. I think it looks pretty good. Scuffed up a little bit. I might go back with the knife and hit it a little bit more. See if I can pull any more off of that without scratching up the paint too much. Shield came out really good. I'm very happy with that. Not too overdone, not too underdone. Just how I wanted it. So and the little corner bits came out way better than I expected them to. So very pleased with that. The skirts look fine, modded up, and weathered as well. So all this is basically ready for decals and all that good stuff. I'm really excited to go ahead and tear into that. That's going to be a blast. The head mods are complete. Seam removal is done. It's been painted black on the inside. I have to wire a new resistor. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but I was testing resistors again against the LED, and I found one that dims the light enough that I'm pleased with the effect, and I don't think there's going to be too much bleed, if any at all. So next I've got to get my weathering done on all the remaining pieces that are left, and paint all of that. So that shouldn't be too much more work, but hopefully, anyway, I can get it done fairly soon, because the deadline is rapidly approaching, and I've been slacking. So I'm going to cut and come back, and we'll hopefully have all this glossed. So see you in a little bit. Okay, so I didn't really have a chance to finish all the armor panels yet, but I'm on the last couple metallics. They're drying up as we speak. Just waiting for the paints to cure a little bit before I start messing with them too much. But what is this? That's what I lost. Okay. But I painted the metallics on the guns. As you can see, I gotta mask some of this stuff off and then paint the frame around this gun. I don't even think I'm gonna use this thing, but I'm gonna do it anyway. This, I want to paint the barrel silver or duraluminum anyway. So that's gotta be done. Bottoms of the feet, I did a very light coat of duraluminum, so it doesn't even really look like duraluminum. Or maybe I grabbed dark aluminum by accident, I don't know. My thruster bells are painted. I got red on the inside.
Just gonna hit these with a dark wash on both sides, and hopefully when it dries it looks like soot and like it's been, you know, just burnt. And I wasn't gonna go detail crazy, but I saw these hands and I couldn't help myself. So I went in, I painted all the silver on the knuckles, all that good stuff. I dry brushed them and I painted in the I used copper, and then I hit it with a dark wash, and it really kind of faded it and brought the color, you know, the vibrancy down, I guess. So they all look pretty good to me. I'm incredibly pleased with the way the hands came out. And if you guys are on my Facebook page, you saw this probably a couple days ago. But I'm incredibly pleased with the effect. I painted the ammo drum red. I really like the way that looks. So rusting, got some dirty wash. So I'm just gonna hit this with another gloss coat before I start wrapping this up. But once I do all the rest of the armor is when I'll gloss coat that, and that's actually when I'm going to start the next video. I've done a small mod on the shoulder. I was cutting pieces I thought that I needed out of the trees. I wasn't looking at the instructions, and I saw this little piece, and it looked like something I needed, and I cut it out, and I got to cleaning it up, and I was like, I don't need this, this goes to the ground type. But I stuck it in anyway. I just kind of glued it in place and used some clamps to hold this in place, and it actually looks pretty cool, I think. And then you can kind of slap this so it's kind of like a layered thing, so it's got a little bit more support if it's, you know, towing something, I guess. So it's slightly practical, I guess. So all I gotta do now is finish the remaining armor bits, and we can come back and look at decals and then what the rest of the weathering is going to be. So the next work in progress might be the last. I'm not entirely sure. We're coming to a close. I've got a lot more to do with pigments and stuff like that. I'm not going to leave it like this with decals, but we'll see what happens as time progresses. So this is the end of this one. I don't remember what number this is. I think this is 7, maybe 8. I can't remember. There's so many work in progresses. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time. Later.